But let me just say this to you, Raheem, about that, because the unfortunate part is, I think when you're kids and you're that young, that sometimes we don't understand the burdens of what our parents are going through.
Yeah.
Because especially sometimes as Black people in America, it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough for the Black male who, I don't know what your dad was doing, and maybe the choices that he made weren't necessarily the right choices, but sometimes life beats them down in a way where they feel hopeless, right? And then with your mom, him taking it out on your mom clearly, or physical abuse, and then maybe her not feeling like she had choices to get out, and with her children, and not wanting to leave her children. You know what I mean? It's so many elements to probably how they were adulting, even though you're a child. They are doing the best that they can do based on the level of education that they have, based on the resources that they have. Sometimes it's very unfortunate situations because of redlining that we experience, because jobs it's not equal, you know what I mean? And so it's sad, but it's also sometimes a part of a system that we're in that it's unfortunate that maybe they didn't make all the right choices. But you know, the beautiful thing is, and that's where, again, I go back to God, is because if you don't see that, you may not make the choices that you make. And we may not know who you are. But not only who you are, but now you are affecting other people. I know
Mostert takes off and goes the distance for the touchdown.
What place would y'all rather be right now, man? Come on. Let's be great today, man.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Raheem Mostert, host of Relentlessly Motivated, presented by Mercury. Super excited to bring this show to you guys. We're going to have weekly episodes featuring athletes, business professionals, and anyone that's overcome odds to achieve greatness. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate your guys' support, and enjoy the show.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Relentlessly Motivated, hosted by Mercury. Tonight's special guest, I am just beyond honored. This woman is a complete competitor. She's a baller, a Hall of Famer. She has every type of accolade you can imagine in the WNBA. If I try to go through the whole list, it'll probably be pretty long. I want you guys to please welcome Miss Lisa Leslie Lockwood. What's going on, Lisa? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes.
And congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, you know, it wouldn't be a podcast without, you know, people that I feel like can come on the show and give their expertise, their advice, and some of the things that they went through. Adversity-wise, the good, the bad. I just feel like I want to have a connection out there with people. You being the first woman on the episode.
Really?
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm extremely honored and happy about this, and I would love to get your insight on the woman aspect of sports and what you do on a daily basis. You know, when you were playing, I hear everything about, you know, you being the first woman to dunk in the WNBA. I think that's like so cool. You just epitomize what it means to be a true competitor. And so my question for you is, how did you keep that edge? Like, what made you, you know, reach for the stars? You know, and what ultimately got you into basketball?
Yeah.
Like, what was your thrill about it?
It's so interesting. I think part of it was that I really wasn't into sports early on. Mm-hmm. I was a girl who, I have a lot of girl cousins and females in our family, and they have very strong personalities. Mm-hmm. When all the women would come together, it was like, ooh, you know, they're strong. They fuss, they talk loud. It's a little bit, and I kind of felt in some ways inspired by watching my mom and my aunts and my cousins be so like amazing and aggressive and strong. Yeah. But in some ways I always looked, and honestly, I guess I never really spoke about it, but I always felt like I didn't possess what they had, but it inspired me. So I think part of that, when it comes to the edge and just like being a fighter and having the will, part of that was a desire that I wanted to have what other people had and what my aunts had and my mom, that they just seemed so strong and almost like unbreakable. And they probably were, of course, but just me being a young girl looking at them and listening to them. And then I had some really fearless, and I have fearless cousins that like playing football on the street with the boys, playing baseball, like running track, get out there and racing boys. And I was like not out there doing that. I was on the side like, are you guys, let me know if you guys need some water. Like, like I just admired them in such a way that a little bit of that I wanted. Yeah. And I think when it came to basketball, again, I wasn't like a sporty girl. I did drill team and I jumped double dutch from like second grade in the streets of Compton, jumping double dutch, and in elementary school, I would jump double dutch. That saved me, I think, just because of the coordination, right?
Yeah.
Jumping double dutch, anybody knows if you can jump double dutch, that coordination of just jumping was helping me.
Yeah.
I had no idea. The second thing I did as a kid is that my older sister was in drill team. So drill team was kind of like, again, in Compton, we had drummers and, we were the drill team out there dancing and shaking it. Again, I was one of the smaller ones following behind my older sister, but wanted to learn to dance, learn all the dance steps with her because she was the captain. So again, I think that helped with my coordination.
Right.
The competitiveness of wanting to be just as good as my sister kind of planted that seed. The third thing I think was just my mom. My mom would play board games with my sisters and I would always really just like soak up whatever it was that she was teaching. So whether we were playing spades, dominoes, my mom would teach me how to play backgammon. I was like 7.
Yeah.
So I would play and she'd teach me, and then I was like, okay, Mom, let's play again, but this time don't let me beat you. Like, you really try, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, and I beat her. And I'm like, Mom, did you let me win, or did you do your best? She's like, no, you won. And I'm like, okay, play again. And I'd play like 7, 8, 9 games, like just, and so I think part of that, I was born with that. Like I was competitive, but I wasn't necessarily into sports. So, fast forward to 7th grade, the only reason why I played basketball was because I wanted to be popular. And
Really?
of course, my homegirl Shay, who was on the campus, and everybody knew Shay. And I'm like, why does everybody know her name? It's like, oh, she's on the basketball team. And I'm like, okay, then that's it. Like, I'm going to play ball. And those things, I say, it really is God just having a hand on me early.
Yeah.
Me being a lover of the Lord early.
Yeah.
And it was just a blessing that I picked up a ball, and I really just never put it down. And then I think the last thing I say, it was a mindset that, one, I'm behind, because a lot of people start so early.
Right.
So I got to be a great listener. I got to outwork everybody, and I got to do double time, right? Because I'm behind.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is it's one ball, and everybody has equal opportunity to it. And so however you want to play, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get to that ball just like you can get to the ball. And I think because I was just so, in some ways, a student of the game, but also really driven to get better and catch people, that I was fearless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that fearlessness is just like, I don't know how this is going to work out, but today when you see me, you're going to know you was in a battle.
Right.
Like,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
And I think that mindset was just probably always in me, but I just didn't know. And I think basketball just opened the floodgates, and I was like so fired up that, I was not taking any prisoners.
I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast, but I gotta stop you guys and tell you guys about these Doer jeans. I absolutely love my Doer jeans, and you will too. Man, these Doer jeans are truly one of a kind. I mean, they have great material. You can go around in your house, lounge around, and then you could also be in your kitchen cooking up something late night. Or if you like workouts like myself, you can also work out in them, and they're truly one of a kind. So check out Doer's flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/motivated. Right now, my listeners can get 15% off site-wide when you use my special URL, shopdoer.com/motivated. You'll want to take advantage of this because Doer never goes on sale. Don't wait. To get 15% off, go now to shopdoer.com/motivated. So whenever you get a chance, go and check those bad boys out. Trust me, you won't regret it. I mean, you still doing that today. I know you're playing tennis right now. You know, you're doing your thing on the tennis court, and you talked about, every time we talk, you're like, oh man, I got a match coming up. I'm about to whoop these girls.
Right.
I'm like, wow. I mean, you still doing it. You still got the competitiveness. And
It's bad.
But that's how you are though. You're wired like that, right?
Yes.
Like, that's how I am. Like when I grew up, I was similar, like similar story.
Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Florida. I'm from
okay.
Daytona. Yeah. So, I see all the kids playing around, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I used to play with older kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I'm the oldest of 3 siblings, right?
Okay.
And so, you know, I felt like I had an obligation for myself to be the standard in my household,
Okay.
right? And so I would go outside, play pickup football and basketball with the other neighborhood kids, and it was like, well, these kids are really good, they're really fast, and they're really strong. That's something that I wasn't.
Yes.
So like I had to do, like you said, double time.
Yes.
Like I had to really work the craft and try to figure out what I wanted to do and how I could dominate, you know, early on. And so yeah, I just saw what they were doing, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I need to go in the weight room. I started lifting weights early.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How old were you when you started lifting weight? Look, I'm starting asking you questions.
No. That's good. That's why we're here. No, I was probably like 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started really like getting active in the weight room at 12, and then it just started carrying over into, you know, speed. Everybody in Florida is fast. Like
right.
everybody.
Are we missing something? Is it yams? What are you guys eating? Something?
No, we're chasing rabbits.
Chasing.
That's what we're chasing rabbits down here.
Wow.
So any part of the state of Florida, you know, you hear nothing about how fast guys are.
Yeah.
You know, even South Florida.
Yes.
Down here is just like the mecca of speed and football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's all it was about. Like I played 1 year of basketball.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like
Football
organized
players
basketball.
don't do that well in basketball.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, I have a couple teammates, like, specifically, like, O linemen and D linemen, the bigger guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones that are, like...
Nice finesse touch,
yeah,
right?
they're finesse, but they're also, like, oh, I could yam it. Like, I could dunk, you know? And I'm like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I actually witnessed that when I first got on campus at Purdue University in Indiana. We had a D lineman, his name was Kwan Short, and he was probably like 300 pounds. He probably was like 6'2".
Yeah.
And it was about the summertime. You know, I enrolled a little bit earlier, and we were all at the rec hanging out, and I saw this guy just like do a 360 dunk, and I was just like, wait, like big guys like him can dunk like
can
that?
Get up,
like,
yes.
And I was just so shocked, and I'm like, look, if you say you can do it, I believe you.
Yeah,
you know, at that moment. So, but you'll be surprised. There's a lot of guys in the league that actually can hoop.
Yeah, I was joking. I know the football players can play,
but not me. I can't.
No?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Nope. I play good defense.
Sometimes it's like a bull in a china cabinet, like, you know what I mean, like a little bit too aggressive.
I play good defense.
You play good defense. Okay.
That's the only thing. Now,
without
scoring,
fouling or with fouls?
Without fouling.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can strap some stuff up now. I'm out there and playing some good defense, but
Man.
I'd rather just run a football.
Yeah.
That's it. run the
hear
ball.
you.
That's it. Yeah.
But you do so amazingly.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
love
absolutely.
watching you play. My gosh.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's just the mindset you have to have, right? And so for me. I looked up to a lot of different guys in the league. Frank Gore was a guy that I felt like, you know, epitomized what a true running back was. Mm-hmm. He played like 14-something years in the league, and he had just retired like maybe 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay.
And so just watching him play, Ricky Williams, who's really big
great,
down here.
yeah.
My first ever, you know, NFL game was actually at the Miami Dolphins. My grandfather drove me down from Daytona, which was about 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And we made it one trip, and I got to watch Ricky Williams play against the Patriots.
Yeah, Ricky been no joke, right?
Yeah, nah, he's no joke. And actually, it's crazy. When I broke his record this year, he texted me. He was like, man, I'm so proud of you. Like, I love hearing about your story.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm a true fan, and congratulations. And I'm like, I'm still in shock.
Oh, that's nice, because he's so quiet, too.
Oh, yeah, he's really quiet.
You know.
He's, like, really mellow, chill.
Yes.
I got to meet him in person. He's really cool. But, yeah, when he texted me that, and I was just, like, stunned. Like, I was like, my idol. Like, you know.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, let me ask you this question. Who was somebody that you looked up, either both in the WNBA or NBA, that you wanted to, like, mimic in regards to your game? Like, who was one of that person or group of people?
Yeah, I think, you know, originally I'm an LA girl, so Showtime Lakers was what, the basketball that I grew up on.
Yeah.
And Magic was probably everybody's guy, anybody on the East Coast, of course. But I heard Magic do an interview, and he was like, well, I just want you to know, like, when the Lakers need a bucket, I'm going to get the ball to Big Game James.
Yeah.
So Big Game James is James Worthy.
Oh.
And James Worthy was the guy that I watched and I tried to mimic, like, his consistency with his ability to shoot from the outside, drive, his baseline spin moves, where I got that move from. And then obviously as I evolved, I started to watch Hakeem Olajuwon, who I really loved his game and his footwork on the inside. Tim Duncan, his bank shot, like I tried to, mimic. And, there was a time when I remember asking Tim, like, Tim, what are you looking at when you make your bank shots? Like, what are you focusing on? And he took the time to tell me one time at All-Star Weekend. So I just feel like I've always been such a student of the game that if there's something that I see that I like, then I'm adding it to my game. There was one season when we had won 2 championships and we were going for our 3rd one. And I would always meet with Michael Cooper, who is my coach. And I'm like, Coop, what are we going to work on this year? And one year I was like, you know what, I said, what's my scouting report? Like, what are people saying? It's like, well, he calls me Smooth, my nickname. So he's like, Smooth, they think you like to turn over your left shoulder, or you prefer to go, up and under to the middle, or whatever it was, And I said, I tell you what, let's switch it. This season, I want to do everything just going left, like finishing with my left. And I'm originally left-handed, by the way. So
nice.
I shoot jumpers with my right hand, but I write with my left hand. I play tennis with my left hand, so I'm ambidextrous. And so I was like, I want to just switch it up and do everything to my left. So like that year, everything was just like running hook shots, shooting it with my left hand as opposed to my right. Up and under, everything, off the glass, anything in the paint, everything was going, to my left. So I think I loved basketball and the challenges that it gave me to just try and be better and challenge myself. But I also love, like, my teammates and the camaraderie in the locker room. It's like...
It's like...
That's the best part.
The crazy thing is, like, I know that, like, my game is coming to a close end, right? Because I'm in year 9. I feel like I could play another 10 years, right?
Yes.
But I know that the game is gonna just pass me by at some point. I have to accept that. But one thing that I just can't accept is just that to miss out on the opportunities to be with your teammates in the locker room and, like, to share the field together, share the court together, right? Like, those are the memories that last a long time.
A long time. The laughs, the stories.
Yeah.
The silliness, how it is. You get to just, you're yourself everywhere you go, but when you're in those moments of the locker room or the bus or just traveling together, it's just, it's amazing. Playing cards. We used to play cards all the time.
We do that too.
You guys play, which are we playing? Tonk?
We play spades. We got a game called Boo Ray.
Oh, Boo Ray. I know about Boo Ray. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, guys are shooting dice. It's a good time.
That's the part. You know what I mean?
That's a camaraderie that you're really going to miss.
Yes.
And it's like truly a family.
Yes.
You get new teammates every year, but it's still like everybody's still as one, like as a family, and that's something that I'm definitely gonna miss. So
when I interviewed you on our show, We Need to Talk. Thank you again for coming
problem.
on.
I appreciate you.
And I was doing just my research on you, and I was like, so this is and I don't remember at the time I knew, but it's 7th or 8th team.
This is my 8th team. Yeah.
8th team, right? And you had been cut
like seven
times or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, no, you guys are talking about the wrong guy. Like, this is the running back. And they were like, no, this is like, read his story.
Yeah.
And I was like, the resilience, the hard work, the fight. Like, can you just talk about, I guess my question is, one, because that's a lot of no's, right? In a career that you're trying to make a career as a pro, but that you stayed with it. Like, what was your mindset? Yeah,
so let me give you a little like background about like my life. So I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida. I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. I was there for till I was about 4 or 5, and then we moved south, 15 minutes south to New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Mm-hmm. And during the time, it was like the 90s, right? There was a lot of violence in Daytona. Like, Daytona was known as like murder capital of the world at one point. And so, you know, we kind of migrated a little bit further south to get away from all that. And I had to move to like several different houses in my time, right? From the time I was born.
With your family, or you mean
with my family.
Oh, okay,
with my family.
Yeah.
So it was never really a stable household, right? It was always like, I don't even have any like baby pictures. Like I don't have any memories of that. Only the ones that my late grandfather has at his house, right? Oh, okay. That he took, you know, when he would come and visit us. Yeah. Other than that, like, you know, I didn't really have a stable background, a stable home. And so I was always, you know, intrigued on, hey, look, this is what I want to do. And I learned something very early. I believe I was like 8 or 9 when I realized, like, this is not how you're supposed to live, right? I was dealing with domestic violence in my house, watching my mom get beat up. I was dealing with alcoholism, all that stuff. Yeah. And it as trauma. It was trauma, right? So like as a early age, I'm like, no, this is not how I envision a true household to be. And so I made it an obligation and a goal of mine, you know, to set out and, one, to have a beautiful family, and 2, to be, you know, educated, to, you know, feel like I was a part of something. Yeah. You know, I want to be a business owner someday. I want to be able to sit back, you know, and truly be blessed about the opportunities that came towards me, and you know, I ran with them, and I never looked back and never questioned one bit. And so all that trauma just helped me build who I am today. Yeah. You know, I'm the only person in my family to graduate from a major university. Nobody in my family has ever attempted to even go to college. You know, college. My mom was going to community college and then dropped out. My dad at the time, he just stopped. He was a basketball fan, huge basketball fan, and he just went on and didn't get any scholarships and just went to construction. You know, that was his thing. And so he was a social worker. And so that's what drove me to be more than just what was around me. Yeah. And so, I was sitting back and knowing that my dad was a big time basketball fan, and I'm like, I don't have the height. You know, he was like 6'3", you know, and
really?
I'm 5'11", so it was like, you know, I don't know if I can
probably reach the early weights.
Yeah, it might have been.
Did any of your other siblings turn out taller?
No. Well, actually, my younger brother did. Yeah. He's 6'1". Yeah. Oh, okay. So, okay. But you know, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play football. Yeah. And, you know, and so I asked him to put me in football at the age of 6 or 7. And
oh, really? You were ready?
I was playing early, and so I just made an impact there. And you know, every year.
Were you playing tackle or?
I was playing tackle from the jump.
From day one.
Tackle from day one. And so I was fascinated by the game, like. And I just grew up to be a fan of it. Yeah. And so
I'm fascinated by the game too, I gotta say.
Before we get back to the pod, I gotta tell you guys about HelloFresh. HelloFresh hooks you up with breakfast, lunches, and snacks, all part of the playbook. It's the fuel I use for my podcast grind. With over 45 weekly recipes, 100 curated picks, every bite is a celebration. Listen, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. It's probably super expensive to have meals shipped to your home. Think again. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and less expensive than takeout. That means less stress in your day and more money back in your pocket. But that's not the best part. I bargained with HelloFresh to get my listeners an exclusive deal. Free breakfast for life. I'm not kidding. For life. Yes, for life. So join me and many others by going to HelloFresh.com/RaheemFree and use code RaheemFree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/RaheemFree with code RaheemFree.
It is amazing because y'all be like, and then you just get back up. And then when you went down what's that? That was the Cowboy game. We were there.
Yeah.
And then you went down.
I tried to get up.
And then you tried to get up. And then you went back down. I was like, oh my God, no. Yeah. And then I was just thinking about your family. I'm like, to be like a wife and kids of like your, you know what I mean?
Kids,
like you can't breathe.
Yeah, my kids don't understand, right? Because my oldest is 4. and 4, 3, and 1.
So they don't
understand. But my wife, oh man, she cringes. My mother-in-law, they're always at the games, and they both just cringe. Like,
oh, I know.
Listen,
I was just meeting just through text, and I was like, no, please get up.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take it. I was like, I see why when you see like boxers and then the mom end up in the ring, like I'm like, that would be me. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's a part of the sport.
It's a part of the sport, and like I built like this tough callus because I've been playing so long.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe, especially with the data that's coming out about like CTE and concussions and, I'm dealing with limbs all the time. Like I broke my forearm, snapped both bones. I had to get surgery on that. My knee, I tore cartilage in that, so I had to get surgery on that. And it's just like,
yeah, like the bionic man. Like, how do you keep coming back?
Because I love the thrill of the game and I want to win a Super Bowl. But I also want to be a gold jacket. Like, you're in the Hall of Fame. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm trying to build that resume. Yeah.
You're doing amazing though.
Yeah,
like those numbers is up.
Yeah,
I'm like,
woo-hoo. They're up.
And it up. No, it's good.
But no, it's honestly, it's the thrill. Like I see, athletes like yourself, Kobe Bryant is a huge influence.
Love you, Kobe. Yes, always.
And it's just like, I see what you guys and your mentalities of how you do things. And I want to mimic that because I know that's what greatness is.
Yeah.
Like I know that's what it means to host the trophy, to have the jacket on your back. That's what I want. That's the feeling I want.
Yeah, you'll get it too, because it definitely is mind over matter.
Yeah.
We have a lot of talk in the last 5 years, I think more than ever, just about mental health and just how you deal with when things are not going the way you want them to go. But I think a lot of that, from my era, we didn't call it that. It wasn't really labeled. You was just like struggling or you wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the mindset, the spiritual mindset, right? And everybody's not necessarily spiritual, but I'm a big believer, and I just believe, I pray Psalms 91 every time before I went out. It's a prayer of protection, but you need that protection, you know what I'm saying? And then you get out there, and it's like, it's equal opportunity. Like every day is an opportunity for you to be amazing. And I say, like, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not you? Like somebody's got to break the record. Somebody's got to have the most rushing yards for the week.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be, the best at your position.
Yeah.
So why not you?
Yeah.
Like you just ask that question of yourself and then you go get it. Like that's it. Like somebody's got to dunk first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to be the best shot blocker. Somebody's got to put the ball in the basket the best. Somebody's got to be the best player on the team. Like, there's no reason for it not to be me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like most of my accomplishments, not that there may not be someone greater or better or all those things, but it's like in the moment when I'm there, I'm there because every single moment is an opportunity to me. And regardless of a missed shot or anything missed, the next opportunity is there and it's equal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the mindset that keeps pushing you forward. It doesn't matter. Like, it never, ever matters. Like, what happened last week doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Because you have another opportunity this weekend coming up. Like, that's the beauty of all of our sports, even though yours is really set on like Sundays most of the time. But the beauty of it is that you always have another opportunity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yes, we look at what we did. We learn from our mistakes. We watch video, which is like the hardest part, but you got to watch because that's how you grow.
Yeah,
that's how you grow. That's that part where you be like, okay, play it, you know?
Yeah.
But you learn and you grow and you just stay locked in. But the beauty of it is that you have the opportunity and you don't waste it.
And my thing is like going back to like what you said about the mental aspect, right? Like the mentality that you have to have. Like when I was getting cut, like the first 2 years, I was on 7 different teams. And my rookie year, I was on 4 different teams, and then my second year, I was on 3 different. Wow. And after about I want to say like the year going into my second year, I was with the Browns, and I got cut. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the Browns were known as like the worst team
Right, they were in last
NFL,
place,
right?
yes,
Like,
for a few seasons.
yeah, for a few seasons,
Sorry, to the
right?
Browns, yeah.
But so crazy story. So my wife, at the time, she was my fiance, and she had her bridal shower the day I got cut. And so I had to call my father-in-law and, tell him, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but, the Browns just released me.
Yes.
The night before, we just celebrated. I went to Hyde Park. We had a nice steak dinner.
Yeah.
It was an accomplishment that I finally got on a 53-man roster, felt good about myself. And then next day, they called me up and they're like, hey, bring your iPad. And so once you get that call, it's like, oh, yeah, they're about to release me. Like,
Wow.
I've already been through this before.
Yes.
And so that was the toughest call that I had to make to my father-in-law because he was with the ladies in Cleveland. They're originally from Cleveland. My wife is from Cleveland. So it was like a home away from home, but you're at home, right? And so made that call, and my father-in-law, I never forget these words. He was like, all right, well, I'm not going to tell the ladies right now because I don't want to ruin their moment. My I said, your daughter is the most important thing right now. Her happiness is the most important thing. And he was like, we'll just talk about it when we're done here. Yeah. And she found out because she's in a group message with the other ladies on the team, and
oh my gosh! While at the dinner?
While
at the bridal shower?
Yeah, while at the bridal shower, and they were like, I'm so sorry about Raheem. And then she was like, what do you mean? Like, and they're like, oh, you don't know?
Gosh.
Like he just got cut. And she
What'd you learn from that?
I learned, like, hey, look, like, no matter what you go through, you have, and it's a good thing that I had my partner, right? I had my wife beside me. She put her dreams on hold to see my dreams come true, right? Come through to reality. Yeah. And so when we sat on that couch when she came home, the lesson I learned was, hey, never give up. Somebody always is going to believe in you, whether you see it in hindsight or not. Yes. And so she always believed in me. I mean, she was there. We met in college. Oh, okay. And we met freshman year, and we started dating second semester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we've been together ever since. Yeah. And so 4 years into college, didn't really pan out the way it was supposed to. And then, I get the opportunity in the league, and for me to get cut and sitting on our couch in our apartment, and I'm asking her, like, what do we do now? Because at that point, I was just so tired of just getting cut. Like, I was mentally, like, going through it. Like you said, that mental aspect. But I also felt like, who am I to, like, just quit? Like, I just can't do that. Like, I have to see this through. And the one question she asked me, she was like, how much do you love this game? And I said, look, babe, I've been playing this game since I was about 7. Yeah. And then she was like, well, there's your answer. Keep going. Yeah. We'll be all right. I'll be fine. And the rest is history. So it was like, So going back to the mental aspect, right? It's like when you're dealing with so much trauma in your profession, you do have to take a step back and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like, what can I fix to improve my game? Yes. And I had to look myself in the mirror and just be like, you know what? These coaches didn't believe in me. It's okay. Like, just keep staying focused. Yeah. Work extra hard. Show people that you truly care. Show people that you want to be in the building. Yeah. And then the rest will follow. Yes. And so, I'm here to say, like, I'm in year 9 now. My second year in the league. It didn't seem like that. Yeah. My first 2 years.
Most success that you've had?
Yeah, this is the most success I've had in my 9 years. So it's like,
God is amazing though, right?
Listen, and I
testimony.
He truly is. And one saying that I always believe in, I have it tatted on my chest, Psalms 23, 4-6. Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for God is with me, thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. And so, like, I feel like even though I'm going through the darkest of times, I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel that he's helping me guide, that he's guiding me through. Yeah. And I truly believe that.
This is my thing about spirituality. And I know sometimes people get like, well, they're always like, because as a Christian, it's not that you have to have this label or what you believe or what the church does or how much you go to church. None of that. just your relationship with God is so important
Yeah.
to each individual. But I always say to people, it's like, if you try to, I look at it like Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus has he's supposed to have this whole, a satchel of gifts, right?
Yeah.
They're all on his back, but it's heavy. It's a load, right?
Right.
And that's like burdens in life.
Yeah.
Life can be, you can have a lot of the trauma is inside of that satchel, right? There's the things that we go through is inside of that, but that's not meant for us to carry.
Right.
You know, and to have God in your life is to turn over those burdens, is to lay them at his feet.
Right.
And that's how I view it. So anytime I have had any issues in life, I just turn it over to God. I say, this is what our relationship is about. Me not having to carry the burdens of my sins and the things that are heavy on my heart in my life. And after turning those over and just having faith, even if it's just those two simple things, it's like, I'm going to give you the burdens and I'm going to just have faith. That has been, I believe, the key to my success. Just those two elements of turning over whatever burdens I have, coming up in Compton, having a single parent, you know, my mom driving 18-wheeler trucks across country so that my sisters and we moved around a little bit, living with my aunt, living with my grandmother, you know, but there was always love, always that togetherness. And I'm so thankful for that, but always that faith, just faith that God's going to work this out regardless of what it looks like and what these circumstances are. I know that he's going to work it out. So I appreciate you sharing your story because it's a testimony of faith, you know, and your hard work. Yes, it's a lot of hard work. God knows us in the weight room, up early, running on the track at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Like all of the weights that we live, just, you know, the discipline that it takes to get your rest. Like all of that is a part of it and is a choice. I remember my younger sister who's here who used to say, like, I'm just not willing to make the sacrifices you are, you know? And I would laugh and I'm like, what you mean? She's just like, I'm just not willing to do all that you're willing to do.
Yeah.
And I get it. And I think that's the thing that makes the Mamba mentality, if you will. You know, Kobe and I would pass each other because I would train with Michael Cooper early in the morning before the Lakers would come in. And we'd get to the gym at 5:36 a.m. because the Lakers were coming in. But Kobe would come in earlier before the team. And in passing, just like, you know, just shaking head like everybody ain't willing to make the sacrifice.
Right.
That's it. It's a sacrifice that we make. Within those 24 hours that we all get in a day, some of us just make a different level of sacrifice that everybody's not willing to make. And it's not saying that it's bad for people who aren't willing to, but that's the difference.
Right.
That's the difference maker.
Yeah. I truly believe in that. It's like, who's willing to get up, you know, that early to just go make shots or like that early to start training or, you know, for me, I'm like, okay, well, I know that I have a set schedule, so I have to be at work at this time so that way I can get my rehab in so that way I can go out there, you know, and perform. I got meeting times that I really want to crunch and sit down and try, you know, learn what the opponent is doing for the week and seeing all the different type of movements and the minute details that go into, you know, the film study. And then you have to go and practice that film study out there on the field so that way you can get ready for game day. You know, everything is all, like you said, a sacrifice, and who's willing to make the most out of those opportunities. And so, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position that I'm in, but it was because I made, you know, several different sacrifices, not only for myself, but for my wife. You know, she had to sacrifice her career, her dreams and aspirations. You know, she went to college to be a photography major, but she literally could have went to college to be anything because she's that intelligent, you know. And she helped me realize, like, going through the college process. Like, I failed my first class before I even knew her, and she instilled, you know, no, you need to put in the extra work. You need to like
study
get something
habits,
out.
Right?
Yeah, study habits, create study habits, understand what you're reading. Because, you know, I came from like I told you, I came from a household that comprehensive reading wasn't a thing. Like everybody just worked and that was it. Like nobody really took the time to teach me how to read. And so, like, I failed reading, multiple times.
But let me just say this to you, Raheem, about that, because...
What's up, everybody? If you are a college football fan like me, if you know a college football fan that's in your life, you need to go cop this shirt. New designs dropping all the time. It's the perfect gift with the holiday season coming around. If you don't have this thing, you're missing out. Great material, great fabric. I wear it all the time. Go get yours today.
But let me just say this to you, Raheem, about that, because... the unfortunate part is, I think when you're kids and you're that young, that sometimes we don't understand the burdens of what our parents are going through.
Yeah.
Because especially sometimes as Black people in America, it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough for the Black male who, I don't know what your dad was doing, and maybe the choices that he made weren't necessarily the right choices, but sometimes life beats them down in a way where they feel hopeless,
yeah.
right? And then with your mom, him taking it out on your mom clearly, or physical abuse, and then maybe her not feeling like she had choices
yeah.
to get out, and with her children, and not wanting to leave her children. You know what I mean? It's so many elements to probably how they were adulting, even though you're a child.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't always make the right decisions, and then sometimes they leave you somewhere where you're like, why would my parents leave me? But that might have been a better situation for you too,
Yeah.
So sometimes I think they are doing the best that they can do based on the level of education that they have, based on the resources that they have. Sometimes it's very unfortunate situations because of redlining that we experience, because jobs it's not equal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's sad. But it's also sometimes a part of a system that we're in that it's unfortunate that maybe they didn't make all the right choices. But the beautiful thing is, and that's where, again, I go back to God, is because if you don't see that, you may not make the choices that you make. And we may not know who you are. But not only who you are, but now you are affecting other people. I know you were talking about your foundation. When I called you over, I think the holidays, were you giving out?
Yeah, I was giving out toys. I drove back home, and I gave presents and gifts to like the local community center that I was spending time at when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun, and it was honestly, I thank the man upstairs for giving me the position to do that. Because not too many people come from where I come from, make that opportunity to, give back.
Absolutely. So, it's like Joseph in the pit, though, right?
Yeah.
Like if Joseph doesn't end up in the pit, Joseph doesn't become what he becomes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, I mean, that's deep, but it's just sometimes we become the chosen one, even though our circumstances look dim, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be here based on the statistics, but then there's the idea that your hard work and your perseverance, but also that blessing, because he knew that you would be a blessing to others. You didn't just leave and never go back.
Yeah.
You went back, and now you've probably touched the life of some other child that you don't know anything about, who will tell a story about you someday.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, as athletes, right, you do get the limelight on you. You do get like the exposure of your success, and you're out there, and then you are able to give back. But my biggest thing is, for me, is like I love the fact that I can just see a kid smile. Like that's the ultimate. Like being back at home. Like if you go back to Compton, you give back, and it's like you see those kids. Like, even though they're going through rough times, to be able to give a kid a present, and they didn't even think that they would even have a present for Christmas. I mean, that in itself, it just gives me joy that I'm doing the right thing. You have
to give me an invitation for next
Christmas. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No,
go
definitely.
Out and see the kids. I love the kids. The kids, that's just a soft place in my heart. I think, nobody asked to be here, but the children just, I don't know how people do bad things with kids because they are just so amazing and precious.
Kids come into this world innocent, and like it's not by choice. Like they didn't have a choice to come in the world, right? And so like if they're in a bad situation, if their parents really don't care for them, it's like it's not their fault. You can't blame the kids for coming into this world when the parents were the ones that, made that action. They're the ones that wanted to do the deed of having another child or whatever. Yeah. So that was my thing, is like, truthfully, I don't even know my real father. Like, I still to this day don't know who my real father, and I don't plan on ever, meeting him, because obviously I wasn't important. I was a mistake baby. I will say that. I really was a mistake baby. I wasn't supposed to be here, but
you be careful with your words. I know we're on the podcast, but I'm gonna just tell you, because you were not a mistake. Because God makes no mistakes.
No, He doesn't make any mistakes at all.
If you don't have the story you have, you don't have the heart that you have to be able to see it in other people.
I take that back, y'all. I'm not a mistake, baby.
No, you're not. You're a blessing.
Yeah, I'm a blessing, baby.
You're a blessing, and then your story was gonna pass through your children, because they're gonna understand what their father's been through, and then they're gonna bless others 10 times more. That's the way it goes. It's not our stories, and that's one thing. I met my father one time, so I do know who he was, but I didn't know him. I didn't call him father. I remember the day I was supposed to meet him, and I'm like, I asked my mom, what should I call him? And she was like, you can call him whatever you want to call him, right? Which I knew what that meant too. But it's like, that was the man who helped me to get here, but my father has always been the Heavenly Father.
Right.
And that's it, you know what I mean? And so he makes no mistakes. But through that, I always have a level of appreciation for my husband, who's so amazing, and for my children's relationship with my husband. I love the fact that he gets to teach them all the first things, like, let your dad teach you how to ride the bike. Let your dad teach you how to skate. I love that. I love the fact that we eat dinner together, and I get to cook and serve my family, and all of the things that I didn't grow up with. We get a chance to do a do-over and be better than what we've come from.
What we experienced, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's you're never ever, don't ever say that again. You are never
I appreciate
a mistake.
that. No, you're absolutely right. I never thought of it like that. Just because, like, me, I was just like, I don't know who my dad is. Like, it is what it is, But the guy upstairs, that's the only father that really has taught me all these lessons.
Absolutely.
I didn't learn how to tie a tie through a father figure. Like, I literally learned on YouTube. That was like, and so for me, I have 3 boys now. Gunner, Nico, and Miles, and my oldest is 4, Gunner, and I'm gonna teach him how to tie a tie, and I'm thrilled to do that. Like, I'm gonna teach him how to ride a bike, I'm gonna teach him, how to write cursive, how to do all the essential things, because that's something that I didn't get taught when I was younger. So, and
you'll appreciate it more. I love that about my husband, because we've been married 18 years, and it's just been the most amazing years of my life. And I think it's because I get a chance to see what a father would be like. You know what I mean? I mean, he's my husband, but in some ways, it's I don't know, that probably sounds strange, but I'm like, he's kind of like my father too, but not really, but just to have the presence of a man in a home, a man that's taking care of our home.
Taking care of business.
In business, our real estate business. Like, we run our business together. Like, everything is just, his background is military. Okay. So he graduated from the Air Force Academy. Then he served in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Ooh. Yeah, so he's a captain on the 767.
Ooh.
Yeah, he flies.
Heavy. This guy's heavy. Okay,
he just retired.
I can't wait to meet him now. We definitely got to grab some dinner now. We definitely got to.
He's amazing. And then we've been in real estate. He's been in for like 35 years. Okay, sorry, babe, maybe not that many years, but he's been in over 30 years, like, in real estate. Yeah. And I think the idea is just that I used to pray, because I'm like, Lord, when I get married, like, I want to make sure I have a husband who's, like, solid. Like, I don't want to be the smartest one in the house and making all the decisions, and you know what I mean? And it's like, to be evenly yoked in the way that we are, and so similar. That's a blessing, but I get a chance to see what a father would have been like through watching him raise our children.
Oh man, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. But
shout out to my babe.
There you go. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to link up and get a nice dinner and stuff like that, and get the kids intertwined and stuff. And you meet my baby boys and my wife. You're more than welcome to come here anytime.
That sounds great. Yeah. Tell me when y'all ready for us to come visit.
Yeah,
That's
right.
amazing.
Absolutely. Well, Miss Lisa, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I appreciate it. This talk was just an eye opener. I love the mindset. I love everything that you do, and you're doing wonderful things. You continue to amaze not only myself but everybody else out there. So I truly appreciate you coming by, man, and thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If you have any questions,
good luck out there.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Go Fins.
There you go. See, she's a Fins. She understands. She knows what it's like being a Fins fan. But yeah, well, I appreciate it, Lisa.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's another episode, y'all. Thank you guys for staying tuned, and have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on anywhere that you find your podcast. And follow us on social media for highlights on the show. Until next time.